All right. All right. So greetings again. Again, these focused classes are based around meditation, and they're necessarily targeted for those people who have or who are struggling with nicotine and tobacco addictions or problems, I would say. Those urges to smoke and everything. So again, I'm gonna ask, do we have any smokers in the lobby or in the chat right now? And if we don't, that's perfectly fine. It can always be applied. All right. All right. I'm not seeing anyone respond in the chat right now. So, all right. Ms. Guadalupe doesn't smoke. All right. If you were here on Tuesday, also let me know that, just so I can have an awareness of that part. So I'm gonna give a breakdown of what we're gonna be doing today. I kind of gave a glimpse of it on Tuesday, and then from this point on, we're just gonna be rotating between a few of the meditations, a few of the intrapersonal style meditations. All right.
Mary Lou has a question.
You can ask the question out loud or in the chat. Miss Mary Lou. Miss Mary Lou, did you still have a question?
Well, you might have to unmute yourself, Mary Lou.
She doesn't have a question.
All right.
All right.
All right, cool. I'm just making sure, because I did see the notification where her hand raised up. All right. So on Tuesday, what we went over was the breath work, and we're gonna start off with that again. So the breath work we went over, which is understanding the basic part of what is called Ujjayi breathing. And what Ujjayi breathing is when you take as full of a breath as you can, and you have actual as you're breathing in through the nose, the air is traveling through the nasal cavity, and it's creating a sound that's kind of like Darth Vader breathing, or what you would hear as like kind of like snoring, but it's not snoring. It's just the sound of the air flowing through the nasal passageways. Again, hello everyone. I appreciate everyone who's coming in to check in today. So we're gonna start off with I'm just gonna give you a quick rundown. We're gonna start off with the breathing practice. And from the breathing practice, we're gonna go back into the meditation of the noting and labeling. And with the noting and labeling meditation, what we do is we note and label every sense that we're experiencing. So we're gonna start off with the physical layer of touch and then work our ways inward. Like I said, it's gonna be more intrapersonal, and reflecting back on what we talked about on Tuesday. Meditation doesn't just have to be limited to you sitting in a room and being very intrapersonal. The intrapersonal experience can be connecting with someone, could be manifesting art, creating something. So it's all about what you feel is your best suited meditation for that time. Because sometimes you may need to take 5 minutes to go outside and get some fresh air. Sometimes you might need to just write something down. It's all based off of your mood at that moment, or what are your creative outlets. Real quick, before we get started with anything, does anyone have any questions before I get started on breaking down the breathing practice again? I'm just taking about 2 minutes to see if anyone have any questions about anything that we're gonna be doing today. Like I said, we're going over the Ujjayi breathing. And then from the Ujjayi breathing, we're going to go into the noting labeling meditation, which is just checking into the body intrapersonally. And then at the end of the session, we can have a little bit of discussion, Q&A, see how everyone's feeling, if they're feeling more present, if they're feeling more aware, the things that they're feeling post-meditation. All right. I'm not seeing any questions, so we're gonna get started on the Ujjayi breathing. So the key points for the breathing start at the belly. And when I say start at the belly, they legit start at the belly. We're gonna be breathing into our belly all the way through every breath. So if you feel yourself begin to shorten your breath, try to bring your awareness back to the breath as much as possible. You can either take your right hand or left hand, place it onto your belly, through your lungs. Take a strong inhale through the nose. Hold for a moment, and then slowly release. Now, necessarily, there isn't a proper position you need to be in while doing this. So if you want to do this sitting, that's fine. If you want to do it standing, that's fine. If you want to do it lying down, that's perfectly fine. Whichever is most comfortable for you at the moment. Because what we're going to be working on is checking into the body, being more present in the moment, and being present with our breath. So at the belly, we're going to do 4 breaths at the belly. We're going to take as full of a breath in. What we're going to feel as the mechanic of the body breathing is, as we inhale, we're going to feel the belly press into the palm. So that's why I have your hand at your belly. And then as you exhale, you're going to feel the navel contract back towards the spine. So at your pace, through your lungs, take a deep breath in through the nose. Hold, and slowly release. On this next breath, allow your body to inflate. Check in and see how the body is feeling with the in-breath. If you're feeling any restrictions, bring awareness to it. And allow it to flow out with the ex-breath. In-breath. Hold. Check into the body as you perform your in-breath and hold. Slowly release. One more breath at the belly. Hold. Slowly release. Remember, as you breathe, the longer you hold your breath, the more oxygen you get saturated into the blood. But that's only after you take a full breath, and you don't want to hold this for an extremely extended amount of time. You only want to hold it for a few seconds so your body can saturate the blood with the oxygen and then slowly release. So we finished out the belly. What we're going to do is take our hands to our rib cage, giving ourselves a gentle hug. And then whenever you're ready, you're going to start with your in-breath. We're going to do 4 breaths at the ribs. You're going to in-breath. Hold, and then slowly release. Take a deep breath in. Hold. Take a little bit more of a deeper breath in. And then slowly release. Take a deep breath in. Hold. A little bit more of a deeper breath. Slowly release. Checking into the body, checking into the breath. Take your deep breath in through the nose. Hold for a moment. Take a little bit more of a deeper breath in. And slowly release. Check into the rib cage, which you should feel mechanically as the ribs expand out like an accordion. Well, what's happening physically and mechanically is your body is expanding in the front anterior, laterally out to the side, and posterior in the back. So your lungs are acting like this in all three dimensions. So we need to be aware that our body is breathing not just through the chest, but through the back as well, and through the ribs. So now that we've done 4 breaths at the rib cage, we're gonna go up to the upper chest, placing your hands onto your clavicle. Whenever you're ready, you're gonna take a deep breath in. Hold. Take a little bit more of a deeper breath in. And then slowly release. Deep breath in. Hold. A little bit more of a deeper breath. Slowly release. Deep breath in. Hold. A little bit more of a deeper breath. Slowly release. This will be the last breath at the top of the chest. So deep breath in. Hold. A little bit more of a deeper breath. And then slowly release. Checking into your breath, checking into your body, using the breath to check into the body. As you take your deep inhales and then taking a little bit more after you hold, see where the air is traveling to, see if there's any restrictions. If there's any restriction, try to identify why. Is it because the position you may be in? Is it because you're holding some tension somewhere? And then if you're holding tension somewhere, guide with your mind. Try to think that the airflow is going into the lungs, going to the blood, and then the blood is traveling to that area to help alleviate the tension, to help release it. Because the more oxygen we get to our blood, the more relaxed and active our muscles can get. A relaxed muscle is a lot more ready and active than a tense muscle. So learning how to use your breath to check into the body, to check in, to allow your muscles to calm down and relax is a great thing. It'll help you when you're dealing with things like high blood pressure, or if you feel like your heart's just racing, or if your heart rate is just has went up. So same thing for when people are like running a track, they do a 100-meter dash. When they stop, their body's been breathing very rapidly. They're gonna try to get as much control of their breath as possible. So as we've entered the 12th breath of the breathing practice, we're gonna get ready to do 12 more breaths, and these are gonna be at your pace. Do anyone have any questions as of now? And this is my question to everyone: is everything making sense? And if it isn't, and you have any questions, or if I say something that seems confusing, don't be afraid to ask questions. That's what I'm here for, to try to help lead you to the best solution and the best answer for it. All right. Now, at this point for these 12 breaths, it's your choice. You can do the 4 breaths at each point, checking into the body, feeling how it's breathing, or you can leave your hand at the belly. I personally enjoy leaving the hand at the belly because that lets me know I'm taking a full breath with each breath. So first thing you're gonna do is clear your lungs. And you're gonna start your 12 breath cycle. These are independent 12 breaths. So you're going at your own pace. With the first 4 breaths, allow for the airflow to travel into the body, travel through the muscles, travel up into the top of the head, through the brain, traveling down all the way to the soles of the feet. As you get into your second breath, feel the oxygen begin to spread and saturate into the blood as it travels into your body. If you feel yourself breathing a bit rapidly, slow it down, control your breath. You're doing an active breathing method right now. Subconsciously, the body will continue to respirate. So what we're doing is we're activating a fuller breath. So the body, whenever we do breathe, we breathe much fuller. We breathe much deeper, giving the body more time to process the reality around us by having more oxygen to travel into the brain as well as into the other organs that are used for our sensory abilities, our senses. Going into the next 4 breaths, begin to check into the body. And so you've identified anywhere your body is holding tension or residual tension. Allow for the airflow and use your mind, focus on these areas, allow for your airflow to travel there. Allow for the oxygen to travel into these regions to help relax, to help sedate those areas. And again, this is only the rudimental part of the practice. So we can take this breath practice, and apply it any and everywhere. Come into your 7th breath, the 3rd breath of the second 4 breath cycle. Allow the breath to get deeper. If that means your breathing slows down a bit more, that's fine. At your own pace, with the last 4 breaths, just continue to check into the body. Use these to bring your awareness to the highest level. Check into all your senses, your smell, taste, touch, hearing, sight. With your touch and your sense of touch, acknowledge the pulse of your body. If as you're breathing, you can feel your heartbeat, your pulse in your hands, pulse in the feet, acknowledge that. Checking in, bring yourself into the present moment. We're gonna take a deep breath and hold for 3 seconds and then release immediately. So in my example, it's gonna be taking a deep breath in through the nose, holding for 3 seconds, 3, 2, 1, and then immediately releasing. And one more time, deep breath in, hold for 3 seconds, 3, 2, 1, and then immediately release. Wait, give me one moment. I need to plug in my laptop. It just popped up with a low battery. As I check in with y'all, just note, I personally just got from work, so I understand that rushed mentality. So I'm checking into myself and slowing down. And I hope you can take that as a part of the practice. Every time you check into your body, you slow down just a little bit to bring your awareness to everything that's around you, everything that your senses are able to receive in the form of information. So again, what we're going to be doing, the breathing for this part of the meditation, is we're going to be taking a deep breath in. You're going to hold for 3 seconds. So that's going to be at your pace. And then you're going to immediately clear out your lungs. So deep breath in. Hold for 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And slowly release. One more time as example. Taking a deep breath in. Holding for 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And slowly releasing. Going back into what we were talking about Tuesday with the idea of urges and those temptations, those are just thoughts. So whenever you're getting these urges to, and again, this was initially catered to people who are struggling with nicotine and tobacco addiction. So if I tangent into that for a moment, just know that it's just all over a part of the idea of meditation. So whenever you get these urges to smoke or consume a nicotine product, it is a thought first. It is a thought that is trying to get a physical response from the body. And what is that physical response? The physical response is the body grabbing a cigarette, grabbing a lighter, lighting it, and taking that first puff. Because the idea is once you take that first puff, now the body has what it was craving for. And you're now feeding into that craving feeling that your body is telling you that it wants. But the thing is, does your body really want it? Or is it something that your body has been introduced to and now it feels like it must have this every once in a while or have this when it's stressed? So identifying through your senses, through your breath, these thoughts, urges, and everything, be able to acknowledge it, not allow it to detour your mind, detour your focus. You're giving yourself time to acknowledge the thought, bring your awareness to it, and then you're letting it go. The example I used on Tuesday is kind of like if you're holding a rope and the rope has a buoy at the end of it, and that buoy is in the ocean or in a lake, the buoy is going to want to drift with the current. But as long as you're holding the rope, you can guide it back or begin to adjust and guide it and steer which way the buoy is going. So take it that your thoughts are the buoy in the ocean. The ocean is just the flow of thoughts that can potentially move the buoy, which is your intent, your focus. And then the rope is your breath, keeping you connected. You can give some slack to the rope, or you can add tension to the rope you can give some slack to the rope, or you can add tension to the rope to bring it more in control. As we do these breaths, we're adding tension to the rope to get more control of the buoy. So when the water is moving it around, we're able to guide where it's going and not allow it to travel too freely. It's going to have some freedom because it's going to be moving in coherence with the water or your thoughts, but you don't want to allow that to distract the intent of what you're working with. So getting ready, we're going to do about 12 breaths of that slow down breathing where you take a deep breath in, hold for 3 seconds and release. And as we do these breaths, I want you to begin to start from the most superficial layer, being the skin, our sense of touch, and we're going to work our ways deeper into the body. We're going to work our ways deeper into our senses, checking into the body. So if you at any point get any distracting thoughts, acknowledge them, bring awareness to it, and then let it flow. Do not let your mind drift with it. Acknowledge it. Say hello. Give it another greeting, and then let it go on. Allowing your mind to drift into it is where you begin to fall into that tangent of oh, I don't feel like I can pull myself back, but you can always bring yourself back through the breath. So checking into the breath, we're gonna do 12 breaths at the pace of deep breath in, hold for 3 seconds, slow deep breath out. As we check into the breath, we're gonna start with the most superficial layer. So you're gonna start with the skin, feeling everything that's touching the skin that goes from your socks on your feet, or if you're wearing shoes over those socks, socks on your feet, pants on your legs, shirt on your skin, the shirt on top of that other shirt pressing. For me, I have hair pressing onto my shirt. So those are things you want to bring awareness to as you're noting and labeling, but starting at the most superficial layer. So at the furthest layer out, then working your way in. Checking into the breath, take a deep breath in. As you take this deep breath in, you should feel the body beginning to expand, the belly expanding, filling with air, the lungs and rib cage expanding as the lungs expand, filling with air. The upper chest rising as the upper chest fills with air. As the body expands out, it should press against the shirt so you notice, you note and label, touching. Give me 1 moment, please.
I'm working. Stop calling me. Keep saying you have plans to teach. Stop. Please listen to me. Please. I told you I was teaching back.
All right, excuse me, sorry about that. So resetting, checking into the body, clearing the lungs. Taking in a deep breath, holding for 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and slowly releasing. The intent is to focus in with these 12 breaths, checking into the body, acknowledging any distracting thoughts, any urges, not allowing your mind to be drifted away from the focus of checking into the senses, starting with the sense of touch. We're noting and labeling. So again, as your lungs fill with air, you can feel the lungs and the skin press into the shirt. Depending on how you're sitting, if you're sitting with your arms on your legs, your arms are pressing into your legs. So that's pressing. As they're pressing to the legs, you know you're pressing the pants that you're wearing down to your legs as well. Going down the legs, we've acknowledged that the skin is making contact with the pants and that the feet are pressing into the ground, but they're pressing into the socks or shoes that you are wearing as they press into the ground. If the mind begins to drift, just gently bring it back through the breath. Deep breath in, hold, slowly release. While you're taking these deep breaths in, bring your shoulders away and down from the ears, lengthening out the neck. Check into your sense of hearing, the sounds that you're hearing in your space. Bring your awareness to them. acknowledge, and continue. Each individual sound, bring your awareness to it, acknowledge it, and continue. Taking a deep breath in, holding for 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Slowly releasing. Deep breath in, holding, slowly releasing. Working our way to the nose, the sense of smell. As you breathe, acknowledge any aromas, any scents that may be in the air. Bring your awareness to it. And gently move on. Take a deep breath in. You're gonna hold and slowly release. Deep breath in. Hold and slowly release. Going from the sense of smell, we're gonna bring ourselves over into taste. If there's any taste in your mouth from food that you may have just eaten or something you may have drinking, bring your awareness to it, acknowledge, and gently move on. And from the sense of smell, there is a smell that you could taste. Bring your awareness to it through the sense of smell. Acknowledge that this is an aroma, and acknowledge that this aroma is creating a taste in your mouth. Now, as we get to the eyes and sight, what we're gonna do, gently close your eyes. You're gonna take your hands and we're gonna do a sense deprivation with sight specifically. The idea of it is we're just gonna cover our eyes with our hands, that's all. We're gonna breathe in the same way, just covering our eyes. Taking a deep breath in, holding for 3 seconds. And slowly releasing. So the first thing we're doing by placing the hands over the eyes is depriving the body of the sight for a moment. So when we reopen our eyes, we can then bring our awareness and acknowledge everything that's within our visible spectrum. Whenever you're ready, you can bring your hands down from your eyes. The eyes can still be closed. The eyes can still be closed. As you bring your hands away from the eyes, if your palms were on your eyes, then you'll start feeling some warmness, some blood flow returning back to the eyes. And gently begin to open the gaze. As you open the gaze, you will feel the light beginning to enter the eyes. And as you begin to see and process things back around you, bring your awareness to that. Acknowledging the colors, the objects, and everything that is within your visible range. Checking into the body. This is a brief noting and labeling meditation and going through the senses. You can always apply these intrapersonal styles of meditations to any of the physical crafts or arts that you may partake in. Because remember, those are meditations as well. As we're coming to the end of the session for today, does anyone have any questions? Are you feeling anything uniquely different from checking into your body? And if so, if you have any questions or anything you would like to say in regards to how you're uniquely feeling, you can put it in the chat. From Miss Jane Vise or Jonna Vise, very relaxing. Miss Selena, super great. Thank you. You're very welcome. So please always remember, give me a second. Get darker. Please always remember that there is never anything wrong with checking into yourself, checking into the body. The more you do it, the more it just becomes second nature. And it should be second nature. It should be more so second nature to us than speaking, than writing. The reason why is because our bodies don't communicate in English. We interpersonally communicate in English. So we program that into our body. We forgot to program how's our body feel, the ability of checking into the body, checking into the senses. Miss Rima, again, thank you for light. That's great. That's very great. So again, we program all these things into our bodies, our wants, our lives, our needs, but we don't program the reminders into our body. Hey, I'm feeling a little off. Let me check in for 2 minutes, 5 minutes. If you have a whole hour to check in, take that hour too. But again, thank you, HCC. Thank you, Roy. We're gonna be coming to a conclusion for today's session. So let me greet myself back to y'all, and hopefully you greet yourself back to the world with a namaste. So thank y'all very much for participating. We should be back on April 20th, if I have that correct. And then again that week on April 22nd. And if anyone has any questions, yes.
It says, do you also do sound bath meditation?
Personally, I do mine kind of different. People use these singing bowls. I myself am, try mine. I'm gonna spell my name so y'all can see it. All right. I myself, since I do like stuff with music, I do use sound baiting as a part of that and frequencies, but I don't do it based off the traditional method of having a singing bowl. Oh no, you're good. You're good. So I do it, but I do it a bit different. And that's just me personally. And that's because thankfully so I apply that to my personal practice, and I'll use that as certain tools to create those frequencies instead of having to use the singing bowl itself. Because I personally do not own a singing bowl, but I own an oscillator, which I can create frequency with that and use that to focus on. So real quick, just a reminder, if anyone's gonna be up at 8 a.m. tomorrow with sports rec, I'm gonna be doing a more physical based yoga class. So we're gonna be going over some of the same stuff we just did here, and then a little bit more in depth into a physical practice. So there's gonna be a bit of a physical flow to go into it. But as we do this physical flow, remember, all we're doing is flowing and checking into the body.
Okay.
Nice. I see a lot of people use the glass bowls as well. I have some friends who own these bowls, so like I know about using them and I've tried to use them. I'm just not like the most proficient with it. Once I click it and start rolling it on the inside, I don't get the consistent ohm frequency. So yeah, that's something I'm really gonna look into investing in. But again, thank y'all very much. Thank you, Roy. Thank you, HCC. Thank you to all the students who tuned in. Tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., I'll be teaching a more physical-based yoga class. Then following up on Monday,
Draymond, we're kind of losing you there for some reason.
Is the check-in. We're just using the physical asanas and poses as if y'all ask Roy or any of the HCC staff who have contact with me or my information, talking better.
Okay, Draymond, I think there's an issue there. Okay, just before we leave, I want to thank Draymond. You did a great job again tonight, and I think everyone enjoyed this. It's very, very good. Just a couple more announcements for those of you that weren't here at the beginning. This event will be available for playback via Student Life YouTube channel. And all attendees who stayed for the entire event will be placed in a raffle and with a chance to win 4 $25 gift certificates. You will be notified by email if you win one of those. If you have not signed up to get a free smoke-free t-shirt, if you check the link on 703 in the chat, it'll be right there. And for the smoke-free kits, it's at 705 in the chat is the link. And the last thing is at 719 in the chat is the link for other smoke-free events. Okay. Jana, do you have anything else before we leave?
No, thanks everybody for coming out. We love seeing you at all of our events. Can't wait to see you next week. Y'all have a great weekend.
Yeah, give them a chance to go to those links before we leave the chat. Give them a couple minutes. Okay. Okay.